Grand Rising, Grand Rising Curvies. Good morning, beautiful Curvies. How are we this morning? OMG, it's a beautiful cold ass morning over here. It's 32 degrees in my part of California. And remember, a couple of weeks ago, your girl was bragging about it being 97 when the rest of the world was freezing. So, turnabout is fair play over here. Turnabout is fair play. Okay, so Grand Rising, I hope you smash the like button on your way in. Smash the subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit that bell so you can get notified next time I upload a video and so you can become part of this beautiful curvy community that we're growing over here in these YouTube streets. Hey, you know what? There's a couple of things I needed to get off my chest this morning in this things that make you go, chat. Okay. Oh, that's my alarm. I was supposed to log in, and that was my reminder to log in. Yeah, that's my calendar is I'd say something into my phone and I let the alarm go off. But you know how the alarm goes off, like, yeah, and then you might be doing something else, and so you press snooze, but then it ended up being important. Yeah, so we're all a work in progress. But anyway, hey, I hope you guys are up and at 'em this morning. Remember that cartoon, Up and Atom, Ant? Remember that? Well, I hope you're up and at 'em this morning. We're going to talk about a couple of things. As you can see from this banner, I'm going to show it to you real fast, and you're going to see why we got to talk about this, because Michael Darby done took his ass to the Bahamas, y'all, while Candiace Dillard Bassett was over there giving a concert and was, oh my gosh, I have the whole story. Candiace broke it down last night in her live. I already posted the second half of what she said, but this morning we're going to take a quick listen to what, that's if my freaking stream plays, but we're going to take a look at this morning what exactly Candiace said happened when he popped up in Bahamas, y'all. Isn't that crazy? Okay, look, my media is finally finished. So let me go like this. X out of here. And then get back in there. And that should help. Okay, so you guys good this morning? You guys good this morning? So we're going to talk about Michael Darby. We're going to talk about the New York newbie from Real Housewives of New York. We're going to talk about, what else even? Ooh, Rob the Builder and Jizzy. Some audio has been released that confirms what we were talking about yesterday with their colorist tendencies. Wendy Williams was spotted. And then we're going to finish off with a good Kyrie Irving update. So let's see what's happening. I think it's, how did I start this? Nope, that's not it. Is that it got saved? Yeah, it says this is it. Okay, add, import. Okay, did it work, you guys? Okay, so let's get started. I don't know. Let's do a roll call, shake it up, roll call, shake it up. My name is Large, just shake it up, I'm so glad you're here. Shake it up, roll call, shake it up, roll call, shake it up. Gabrielle is in the house, shake it up, so glad she's here. Shake it up, Natasha is in the house, shake it up, so glad she's here. Shake it up, you guys know I could do this all day. Sonia is in the house, shake it up, DV is in the house, shake it up, Gabrielle, oh, speak with your girl Marcella popped in my house, y'all. Shake it up, I'm so glad you're here. Shake it up. Wait, okay. Yeah, that's right. Thank you guys for being here this morning on larger curves. So let's get started. I love a good reel, but it looks like my device is not participating. So I might have to go real low budget, y'all, and just show you guys my freaking phone screen because I made an awesome reel and it's not freaking sharing with you. Oh no, you guys go to Speak With Your Girl Marcella's page. Thank her for her support because she's always giving your girl larger curves a shout out. I'm almost to 1,000. I need help with that, y'all. So if you guys could share this video and like this video and all that stuff, then hey, I'm only like 150 away. So close and yet so far. The story of some people's lives. No, usually I get what I want when I want it. Well, I get what I want when the universe decides that I need it. But because I wanted it, I got it. So I don't know. I mean, I might have to want this more because I've been pushing in these YouTube streets for almost going on 2 years since the first fight with Monique and freaking Candiace is why I started my channel, And so yeah, I'm almost to 1,000 though. Thank God, God is great. Slow and steady wins the race, except for when you get there fast. Okay, so like I said, here's my movie I made. And I'll show you guys what I'm talking about because it's really not playing and I don't want to hold this up anymore. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was Candiace Dillard Bassett's freaking surprise guest at her play. Okay. There we go. So I'm going to do this. Oh, you guys can't even see me today. Wait, it flashed me. I have to get rid of my background. Oh, loving my inner. Yes. Like attracts like. That might be why you found my page, girl. Because, yes, we are what we make the day, right? So here's what Candiace was talking about. So Candiace was in the Bahamas. Candiace was in the Bahamas. Candiace Dillard Bassett from Real Housewives of Potomac was in the Bahamas doing her tour for her concert. And you know that on the show, Real Housewives of Potomac, there's Ashley Darby, who is supposedly, allegedly getting a divorce from Michael Baby Hands Darby, as I like to call him. And I call him Baby Hands because he can't keep his hands to himself. I love you guys too. He can't keep his hands to himself. His little tiny hands are always reaching out, touching a butt that's not his, that didn't ask for it, okay? And in most people's world, that turns into a form of SA. But in Michael Darby's world, it turns in because he's Australian. Make it make sense. I'm not sure if they don't have SA in Australia, but in America, when somebody grabs your ass and you didn't ask for it, it's a form of SA. But let Michael and Ashley tell it. When he goes around grabbing men's asses that did not consent to it, it's because it's okay. It's okay because that's what men do. That's what boys being boys and men being men in Australia do. Hey, I'm not talking shit about Australians. They said it. I'm just repeating it, allegedly. Okay? Like, my granddaddy used to live in Australia. He was one of the very few black men, and he was a renowned chef over there. And I'm pretty sure if he would have went around grabbing some asses that wasn't his, even in Australia, it wouldn't have been Australian anymore. And it would have been a form of SA. So I don't really understand how that can keep happening. And then there was the times that Michael Darby grabbed asses on film to the producers. It was usually black men producers. And this is after Michael Darby professed his love for a castmate's black husband and allegedly said he felt like slurping some sausage on this other husband. Okay, so a lot of weird things are going over there. All right, Cricket 22 is in the house. You know what, Cricket? I love you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate that so much. But yeah, so there's like this whole thing going on with Michael Darby Baby Hands. But that fool did not make an appearance on Real Housewives of Potomac all season. So we wouldn't have to talk about him and his peen being caught on film in another hotel room with a woman that wasn't his wife's vagina. So they started the season off by pretending they were getting separated and divorced, but they're still living together right now today. And the show has already been filmed for like months, you guys. So I don't know. It's screaming fake storyline to me because nothing much that Ashley does is real to me, in my opinion. She feels very plotted, and she loves protecting her victimizer husband. So yeah, I agree, Natashki, because old boy took a flight. Let's plot his course. That fool got on a plane, went to an island, and then proceeded to be everywhere they were. She said they saw fool everywhere. Everywhere. Okay, when I say she, it's Candiace. Candiace Dillard Bassett reported that she ended up seeing him everywhere. Her and Chris saw him everywhere. Oh, okay, you're going on block, user. Yeah, sex chat your own ass. Okay, how about that? Sex chat your own ass. Get off my thing. I need to make somebody else a moderator in here. And there you guys have a freaking page. So I can make you a moderator, because as it turns out, you have to have a YouTube page to become a moderator. And at least that's because I tried to go through and make some of my regulars moderators, and you didn't come up as an option. So I'm not sure. So can you DM me if you wouldn't mind being a moderator, and I'll be glad to add you, because I need somebody to help me with these sex bots that keep coming. I know I'm a sexy, curvy girl and everything, but that's ridiculous. Okay. Is the algorithm listening? And as soon as I said SA, it sends over a sex bot? I'm not sure. We need to watch that. Okay. Okay. Let's let the theories play out. Yes, he is unhinged, girl, because he went over there. Here, let's listen to what Candiace had to say.
So, I told you guys I'd have a story time for you.
Can you hear it okay? Can you put a 1 if you can hear it?
I like to start my lives with like real things that matter to me, that may be considered fluff to people who are not so now I can tell you what really happened.
Okay.
Story time. So you all saw that there were some photos and some tweets that made it onto, I guess, on Twitter. Michael Darby was at the SLS while I was there, while my team and I were there.
Okay, wait a second, you guys. I'm going to put this phone on sleep because people keep acting like I'm not doing something. Okay, there we go. Back to her.
It's funny because Chris and I were actually walking back from lunch one day, and Chris was like, "Is that him?" I was like, "No, it's not. Couldn't be." And it was. And for me, that was the end of it. It's like, okay, he's here. So am I. What's next? And I had like a full schedule. Like, PR was like on their job. So I was booked the entire time I was there. So I really didn't have time to focus on that. And so we saw him several times. Every day we saw him. with different people. And I was told that he frequents that resort. And yeah. So the night.
Come on, Candiace.
My performance. Like I said, it got pushed back several times because it was like monsooning. And the rooftop is covered on top, but not on the side. So it was like raining from the sides into the space. And a lot of the seating was around the perimeter. So people were getting wet. And my team and the PR had done a really great job of promoting this event. Shout out to Entertainment Tonight, People Magazine, and Essence Magazine, Essence.com. They were all present. We actually did a great series of interviews that will be rolling out in the next couple of days in preparation for the promotion of my new single.
Okay, I'm fast forwarding her. She's
so they were all up there.
CD is in the house. Hi, mommy. You guys, CD is my mommy.
Doing my performance. And yeah, so it was heavily promoted.
I agree, Marcella. He don't want Ashley.
People were asking like, oh my God, I wonder if Michael's gonna go up there. And again, I was like, I really don't care. That's the least of my thoughts or my concerns. Like it's a public place. It's humongous. There is plenty of room for everyone to be comfortable and, exist. Yes, no Chris Slander will be tolerated. So
she's a very measured storyteller.
We went upstairs after being pushed back a few times because of the rain, and I was standing in the DJ booth waiting for my cue, waiting, there was like so my set list was taped to the speakers and the speakers got wet. So the set list got wet. So we had to go print out a new set list. There were like a bunch of things that had to happen. So I was waiting back there for like 15 minutes. So at one point I see like a commotion, and it was my manager, my publicist. I don't know if Chris was there. He wasn't. And one of a friend of my managers was standing there, and one of the personnel from the resort. And it just was like a commotion. It was like something happened. I was getting ready to perform, so I was literally like in a zone. And when you're in a zone, the zone can't be permeated. So whatever was going on, I was like, well, no one said anything to me. There was no emergency. I was like dancing and like just trying to stay like ready to go out. So later found out that the commotion was someone from my team who is a Black woman who don't exactly look alike. She's a beautiful Black woman though. Was working. She was like doing stuff to prepare for the show. And Michael walks up to her and starts outside verbally accosting.
But it was a great, so am I.
I
think we saw him
making
pushed back a few times because of the rain.
And
was
just generally
working.
being
was, like, doing stuff. The funny part
inappropriate
about
and
all this
incredibly disrespectful.
As he is yelling at her and hurling insults, being inappropriate and incredibly disrespectful. I'm not going to say what was said.
Can you guys hear that okay? I finally got the
the
media up. Can you hear that okay? Can you see it okay?
It was enough to
I see her mouth moving.
And I found out.
Can you put a 1 in the chat if you can still hear her, please?
It's just too much. But she told me later.
Awesome.
And I was disgusted. And pushed back a few times because of the rain. And I was standing in the DJ booth waiting for my cue, waiting, there was like so my set list was taped to the speakers and the speakers got wet. So the set list got wet. So we had to go print out a new set list. There were like a bunch of things that had to happen. So I was waiting back there for like 15 minutes. So at one point, I see like a commotion. And it was my manager, my publicist. I don't know if Chris was there. He wasn't. And one of a friend of my managers was standing there, and one of the personnel from the resort. And it just was like a commotion. It was like something happened. I was getting ready to perform, so I was literally like in a zone. And when you're in a zone, the zone can't be permeated. So whatever was going on, I was like, well, no one said anything to me. There's no emergency. I was like dancing and like just trying to stay like ready to go out. So later found out that the commotion was someone from my team who is a Black woman. We don't exactly look alike. She's a beautiful Black woman though. Was working. She was like doing stuff to prepare for the show. And Michael walks up to her and starts verbally accosting her, making threats and just generally being inappropriate and incredibly disrespectful. I'm not going to say what was said, because at the end of the day, it's not really important. But it was enough to shake her up. And I found out she wouldn't even tell me what it was at first. She was like, it's just too much. But she told me later.
All the time.
And
I want to know what the threats are too.
And
she said she was disgusted.
That's the right word. I was disgusted. It was also kind of comical just because you're like, how pathetic and just ridiculous can you possibly be? The funny part about all of this was, as he is yelling at her and hurling insults and threats, she is saying, what are you talking about? I never did or said any of those things. What are you saying? And he says to her, oh, wait, I thought you were Candiace.
You guys.
And yeah. And my jaw hit the floor. He obviously was, I believe, I did not see him, but from what I was told, he was under the influence. And I was just aghast. God blocked it. And really, honestly and truly, I am a very spiritual person. I'm a God-fearing woman. I came from Jesus, as you know. And it is quite literally a hedge of protection over myself, my husband, and Michael, that he was not speaking to me. I could almost have nightmares imagining what that scenario would have looked like had he actually been speaking to me. That is all I would say about that. That is all I will say about that. One can only. So yeah, that's what happened. So then after he realized that, contrary to his belief, all Black women don't look the same, and he was not actually addressing me, he started hurling insults at her about other things. She is someone that he loves. And just saying just crazy things. Again, it's not important what he was saying. Just what it wildly ridiculous.
Obsessed.
Belligerent
Michael Darby.
Person who probably is also a bit of a narcissist. You can probably imagine. So yeah, that happened, and for me, knowing that. Oh, and then I forgot the part. At the start of what was supposed to be the start of my show, he was sitting dead center in front of the stage. And up to this point, I wasn't sure, and I wasn't convinced that he did know. I wasn't sure, and I didn't think that he knew that I was performing. I don't know why I thought that. Where's the charger? Is there a charger? Oh. Excuse me. Is it not going to reach?
I love their relationship.
I don't know. I just didn't think that he would know. But at one point when I was standing in the back by the DJ booth, Chris and a friend of mine that was there with the press came over to me with very concerned looks on their faces and said, "We just want you to know that Michael is sitting right in the front." And I was like, "Ew, why? Like, why?" But okay, great. I'll be singing to Michael Darby. He's an audience member. He's a viewer.
He's a weirdo, a stalker.
Again, I'm
a groupie, allegedly.
I was in the zone, so Satan could have been sitting up there. It would have been all the same. So after he'd been sitting there, then he gets up and I guess sees who he thinks is me and does the whole losing his mind thing.
Lost his mind.
And then after that, security, he was removed. They asked him to leave. No, one of the people.
No, they were watching.
Oh, they were watching. Okay, so he was being watched. Someone told me that they asked him.
guests that
Right.
were there.
I know that happened.
Yeah.
But I thought that someone from security asked him. Okay. Well, that's why Chris is cooperating. So he was being watched. And then at some point earlier in the week, the resort, the Bahamas.
ST is in the house.
People of the Bahamas watch Bravo. We got so much love from everyone there. They are huge fans and watchers of Potomac.
Okay, so that's a great question, ST. It's so creepy. We played how there it is. While Candiace was in the Bahamas at a resort, you know how when you're going to resorts, if you're on the mailing list, they send you, this performer's coming on this weekend. This performer's coming. This is what we have planned for the events for the resort, right? So based on what Candiace just said, she went to the Bahamas on a scheduled tour date. So it had been heavily advertised for this particular resort. She gets there with her boo, Chris. They uploaded videos on their Instagram. They arrived at their room. It was a beautiful ensuite with the kitchen because, Chris has to cook. Even on vacation, he'd be trying to cook a little something. So they loved having a freaking kitchen in there. And it was a beautiful, overlooked the blue crystal waters. And then they commenced to going on their vacation / work. She said they literally saw him everywhere, to the point where people in the Bahamas watched the show and they were like, Michael Darby's here. Is that okay with you? And she's like, yeah, it's a resort. It's big enough for everybody. We haven't bumped heads, but they kept seeing him around, right? So what she just told us, ST, if you just got in the house, is that fool, Michael Darby, walked up to a random black lady with braids he thought was Candiace because in his mind, all black ladies look alike, walked up to her, verbally accosted her, ST, verbally accosted her, threatened her, yelled insults at her, and questioned her to the point where she was like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. I never did that. And he was drinking. He had a beer in his hand. Look, I have the picture. Wait, let's go. I don't want to. Okay, so this is 11 minutes. I probably can go back. Let's go here because it's right about here. There. So see this woman with braids right here? And you see how she's melanated and brown's kind of like almost the same hue as Candiace? And you see his famous Corona in his hand? This is definitely baby hands Michael Darby. And I swear that looks like a ring unless this picture just is glitchy. But it kind of looks like he might still have his wedding ring on, allegedly, you guys. This is the same Michael Darby that he was serving it when Juan Dixon and Rob the Builder announced their engagement. And remember, Michael Baby Hands Darby got drunk and very upset and inebriated, and he was like making an ass out of himself and tried to fight Chris. Remember? Can you imagine that at her concert in the Bahamas where she's there to make her money? But this is also the same fool that didn't even show up to the whole. We're in episode 7 of season 7 of the Housewives of Potomac. And this fool has been the topic of subjects. However, he has not made an appearance because even his own soon-to-be ex-wife said that they leaked the story themselves about him cheating on her ass again. And then after they go through this whole thing of, oh, well, let's leak the story ourselves as a way to get ahead of a story, then they decide to, oh, let's get divorced. I'm going to file for separation. That screamed storyline to me because what it really said to me was, oh, you're trying to protect Michael so he doesn't have to answer for grabbing butts and sleeping with other women again, because that's all he does. You guys don't, Ashley and Michael don't have a storyline together except for about the dysfunction of their relationship, y'all. Because if he not cheating on her, grabbing butts, then he's making her disown her mama for money and sign off on prenups and postnups and whatnots. Oh, look, I just got a message from Dr. Heavenly. She emails me from time to time and texts me. She just invited me to her mixer, and oh, look, it's an actual text message from Dr. Heavenly inviting me to her December 3rd investment mixer in Atlanta. But my son has basketball clinics that day, mandatory, so we have to go. So I'm going to really try to make the next one. But that, I love getting a freaking ding on my phone. And it's from Dr. Heavenly. She sends me like random hearts. It's so cute. I love her. Anyway. Back to Michael's baby hands. So he totally cussed this random lady out and then sat his ass in the very front row. Okay, let me just do this real quick. Took myself to the picture show, sat myself in the very front row, put my arm around my waist, got so fresh I slapped my face. I'm a nut. Remember that song? He's a nut. Michael is a little nut. Took him to the Bahamas, but Candiace was performing there. He had to just sit and stare. He's a nut. He took himself to the concert show, sat himself in the very front row, picked up a Corona, cussed out a lady, had to leave before shady. He's a nut. Remember that song when you were a little kid? Anyway, I used to have so many cow songs. But when I was thinking about this fool, sitting himself in the very front row, that's the verse of the song that came up for me. He's a nut. Sitting himself in the very front row of that woman's show. I would have felt stalked, you guys. So I'm like, what do you guys think? Can you put a 1 in the chat if he's a stalker? Can you put a 2 in the chat if you think he's a groupie? Or I'll give you a third option because I love a good multiple choice, and C is usually the right answer. Can you put a 3 in the chat if this fool is just unhinged and crazy? Okay, do you think that Candiace should have security? I think she might need security because even though she said she was also told that Michael Darby frequents that resort, if you go back in your mental Rolodex, you might remember Ashley saying before they used to go to Ibiza. So they're used to island hopping for clubbing. Okay. And so we're getting 3s. Oh, we got a 1 and a 3. We got 1, 3, 3, 3. You guys are hilarious. Yeah, I got a song for everything. My kids are like, stop it, mommy. Use your real voice. DV gave a 3. Sanya gave him all 3s. Okay. Natasha gave him 3s. Gabrielle said she needed security. Exactly. ST says 3. A 1 and a 3. Okay. Stalker and crazy. Okay. Yes. Allegedly. These are all our assumptions of his mental state for getting on a plane and sitting in that lady's very front row. Okay, so we're gonna continue. Let me get we were over here. Oh no, wait, what happened? It was working fine. I think I messed it up. I should have let it play. Look at this text thing. Let me take it off. Okay, stop sharing that. I mostly just wanted you to hear her though. Let me see what's going on. Let's close that. Let's open this. Okay, I got it to come back. Let's put this. I think if I stop it again, it might mess up. Let me get it to the right place first, around here.
Contrary to ridiculous.
Okay, so that was the most part of the story. And now we're going to move on because we have to listen to this. Oh, wait a second. Pause. Present. Share screen. Pick a window. This one. Share. Bam! All right. Okay. So now we have to look at Robin and Jizzy. So this is Rob the Builder and Giselle, also known as Not Today Neck, Not Today Ankles, Bryant, and Rob the Builder Dixon, soon to be Dixon again, allegedly. Oh yeah, interesting fact. So yesterday when we were on here talking about everything that happened this weekend and on Real Housewives of Potomac season 7, episode 7, I love a good 7 series. And how Rob the Builder was instigating and inciting a riot while only standing by and videotaping while her castmate got assaulted, and then demanding that the girl either fight back or shut up and take it, which was very triggering for me for anybody else who happened to see that horrible video of rest in peace Shanquella Robinson, who was beat up in the Mexico by her friends, and then they broke her neck and they broke her spine, left her naked body on the bathroom floor after they taped her getting jumped butt naked, you guys. And all they were saying in the video to this lady getting butt naked jumped was, aren't you going to fight back? Aren't you going to fight back? And they just watched her get beat. And then they left her lifeless body on a bathroom floor, took her credit card. It spent $10,000 before they came back to the States, allegedly. You guys, this just happened. This just happened. Yes, it's a true story. And so, but all the video from that IRL true story didn't get released until last week. And so that was like in the front of my mind, because it was a very fresh viewing for me, because all this video is just still getting released about this altercation. And it was very triggering to me, because when I first saw the video of Shanquella Robinson, I was like, oh, those young girls don't know what they're doing. Oh, not that they don't know what they're doing, but I was giving them youth as a partial excuse to only stand around and videotape her being jumped and saying, aren't you going to fight back? I was making that decision for them to do it something to do with their youth, like an immature mind. Because my grown mind, I would never do that shit. I would be like, oh, hell no, not today. Call a popo, something, get out of here. I'm not just going to stand up and watch you get your ass whooped and videotape a freaking crime. Not today, not tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just going to sit around and videotape a crime and not do nothing about it. And because my mind is mature. So in my mind, I'm thinking those people in that video, there was 4 guys in the room, 4 girls in the room. They were all taking video from different angle. And I'm thinking that's because they're young-minded, you guys. But no, because these 2 old heifers, these heifers right here are not young spring chickens. But Rob the Builder, in particularly, who has 2 teenage sons who she walk around butt naked around, the 14-year-old, her oldest son, I think is 14, she said, and she'd be walking around in butt naked, you guys. So that just shows. So she, in the episode, while Wendy's getting accosted and assaulted by Mia Thornton, Rob the Builder pulled out her phone and said, oh, I'm going to tape this so nothing gets lost and da-da-da-da-da. And it was just, and then said to Wendy, aren't you going to fight back? If you don't fight back, then just shut up. I was like, no way. It's almost exactly what the Shanquella people were saying. It was so surreal to watch this old heifer say exactly what those young, immature murderers did, allegedly. And I'm just like, whoa, mind blown. Okay. So I was triggered, you guys. So also in the conversation we had about Real Housewives of Potomac, we've been having the ongoing conversation about colorism. Yesterday, we had a fantastic conversation. You guys were part of it. And yeah, your people, these girls, oh, I did it a freaking again. Okay, let's stop the thing. I got to just let it play when it plays next time. Okay, so I'm going to play it one more time. Let's get back over here. Let's see if it'll do it for mama. Come through, come through, come through. Okay, get to right there.
Honestly.
Get to right there. Get to right there. Get to right there. Present. I'm just going to let it share again and talk after. That's what I'm going to do next time.
Person.
Okay.
Who probably is also a bit of a narcissist. Well, I wasn't sure, and I didn't think that he knew that I was in this losing his mind thing. Okay, so he was hands and waters.
Watermelon.
There it
I'm
is.
being real racist.
Okay.
The resort.
So
the Bahamas. Shout out to the Bahamas. The Bahamas. The people of the Bahamas.
Okay. So
we're
about to witness
everyone there. They are huge fans.
Rob and Giselle be colorists on their freaking podcast. So they can never say they're not colorists. This is what they do on their podcast.
Anytime I see them, I automatically know and feel in my gut that there's fried chicken in their beards. Fried chicken grease. Watermelon. There's some Coke 45 in there. Oh, watermelon. Now I'm being real racist. Okay. This is horrible. Let me just stop while I'm ahead.
Coke 45.
James Harden, I beg
some blunts. Definitely some blunts.
It's some blunts. Some ashes. The whole thing smells like weed. I know it does. Okay, I don't even know if he smokes weed. We're really sorry. Harden, cut the thing off. Sanitary. Anytime I see them, I automatically know.
Okay, so that was disgusting. If I pause this again, I don't know what it's gonna do. We could try it again, but let's look at this. So I wanted to also, wasn't that horrible? Did you hear what those ladies just said about their own? Saying that the dude's beard was filled with all the stereotypes of Black people: fried chicken, watermelon, blunts, grease. Wasn't that disgusting? I mean, and Rob the Builder has Black sons that could have a Black beard, that could have watermelon, fried chicken, blunts in it. That's nasty. Her husband, soon to be again, allegedly, he has a beard. Doesn't Juan have a beard? So does she think Juan has fried chicken in his beard? Or is she sure that it's no fried chicken in his beard because she doesn't cook it? They only get it from Chick-fil-A. Anyway, I'm not sure. But I thought that was very telling of their freaking personalities. Yes. What kind of low vibrational people even listen to this podcast? Exactly. That's what they get to do. So on the show, they give that energy without saying these types of words. And then on their podcast, they say these types of words with that type of energy, you guys. And they get away with it. There's a platform for these people. I bet they love Twitter. Anyway, that was something else. She's going all over the place. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting to tell you. Did you see that yesterday, in the midst of all this upheaval over Rob the Builder and Mia Thornton and Jizzy Neck Gizzards, that Rob the Builder and Juan Dixon let Page Six report that they finally got a marriage license? I think they were just trying to throw us off the scent, you guys, because yeah, they could have been done had that damn marriage license, but she timed it perfectly because it's hard to hate somebody when they're about to get married, right? You want to just be happy for that person. And she's had 7 seasons of, supposedly getting married. This is the longest supposed to be married story in Housewives history, okay? And the strangest, because she has a lot of questions for other people going through divorce. It's so weird. So, okay, now we're going to switch over to Real Housewives of New York. As you know, at BravoCon, they announced the new lineup for the Real Housewives of New York that blew up because they put a Black lady on the cast, and they decided that it was a forced fit because everybody knows those ladies on Real Housewives of New York didn't have any Black friends for a reason. 12 years, 13 seasons, however long it had been on before Ebony K. Williams, Esquire, brought her melanated ass over to the streets of New York to join the cast. They hadn't had no Black friends at the party hardly. They didn't have a Black man. They didn't have a Black bestie. Okay. Now, Ramona had the help. But she didn't have no Black people as just friends in all those years. And that's very telling to me anyway. I mean, because You can't be on a show for that long. And if you have Black friends, one not slip on film. I don't get it. And I don't get why it was such an issue for Ebony K. Williams to come on there and be her melanated self. I know she came in hot and heavy. Education isn't everybody's favorite thing. But I appreciated that she was trying to help them to learn about her culture and in turn learn about her. So hopefully they could meet on some commonality. And instead, all that happened, all we saw was Ramona's stinger act like a stinker most of the season, to the point where there were allegations of racism. And supposedly Ramona had said, oh, see, that's why we don't have Blacks on the show, is because Ebony did something after she got, I don't know. It was just bizarre. So fast forward to this year, because that's the past. This newbie is a Jewish woman, and she announced last week that unfortunately, from the time she announced her joining the cast, she was on the receiving end of anti-Semitic attacks and no longer felt like it was a right fit for her. And that as soon as she announced that she was going on the show, that she was getting hate and all the things that Garcelle Beauvais got also before she joined Housewives of Beverly Hills, mind you. Okay. But Garcelle stuck it out and is continuing to stick it out. Whereas this lady decided that a couple of threats and some racist attacks was enough to get her off the show. And I was thinking, oh, that's interesting. Let's go on. So, as it turns out, you guys, Lizzie might be a freaking liar, because it's reported that this Jewish Zionist influencer was not really leaving the way she said she was leaving, you guys. It wasn't anti-Semitic remarks towards her. What had happened was her husband used the N-word with the ER towards the Black cast member and didn't have any problem with it, to the point where the Black cast member was like, oh no, I can't work with her. And her racist ass husband using the hard R at the end of the N-word. And so production decided that they weren't gonna have her on the cast anymore. So it just got reported over the weekend, after she lied last week and said she left because of anti-Semitic remarks. It just got reported over the weekend. The truth is that homeboy and her used the hard ER trying to defend anti-Semitism. So, okay, here, I'm gonna stop it again and see if it lets me. So what had happened was, so it says, Livy Sepsi exited the Roni reboot after her husband used the N-word while recounting a conversation to producers. Insiders close to the show reveal. According to Page 6, Lizzie filmed a scene with Bryn Whitfield weeks ago, which is where things went left. Insiders revealed to the gossip outlet that Bryn asked Lizzie, who's Orthodox Jew, to set her up with a nice Jewish man. Svetsky said that while she has no problem with Jews dating Gentiles, she prefers only to set up Jews with other Jews. According to the report, she also added that Orthodox Jews favor marriages between Jews to preserve the ethnic lineage, and that Judaism is not just a belief system, but also a people. According to Page 6, Bryn felt affronted and said something to the effect of, horrific people, meaning Nazis, who did evil things to your people, which reportedly shocked Lizzie. The report states that the drama got so bad, the two had an off-camera conversation in which they discussed the power of racial slurs. Sources told the gossip outlet that Bryn, who is half Black, used the full N-word during the call, and Lizzie got the impression that Bryn planned to tell other cast members that Savetsky had used the word during the call. Yikes. The insider went on to spill that Lizzie's husband, Dr. Ias Savetsky, called producers to express his disappointment. Let's keep going. His disappointment, and used the full N-word in his recounting of what happened between Bryn and his wife. While he later apologized, the damage was reportedly already done, and that when the conversations began about Savetsky, and that's when conversations began about Lizzie Savetsky exiting the series. Isn't that crazy? You guys. So she said that she got anti-Semitic stuff, but her husband ended up using the hard ER word, you guys. And here's the report. Did you guys know that? That's crazy, huh? Yeah, they've been engaged. So they're back to Robin and Dixon, Robin and Juan, 7 years, right? Like, no, they got re-engaged officially when Baby Hands went ballistic a couple years ago. Was that the same year as the fight? Yeah, that was the same year as the fight, wasn't it? With with Monique and Candiace. So that would have been 2 years ago. NYC is the most diverse city, arguably, in the world. And it's always weird how they were all white. That's what I was saying. I was like, oh my God, isn't New York City like the freaking melting pot? I thought so, but who knows? I'm not sure why they didn't ever melt onto the screen of Real Housewives of New York, or for that matter, Real Housewives of New Jersey. I'm sure there's a lot of interesting people in those cities. Let's see, the nerve to try and twist that. Yes, so she was the victim. Isn't that, oh my God, I can't even believe that she did that. Yes, it's crazy. Okay, we're almost done. So now I think we're going on to the Wendy Williams was spotted. She's looking healthy. Now, at first, the first time I saw the boots she had on Instagram, I was like, what are people thinking? Look at her Birkin bag. So she not broke. The first time I saw the boots that she has on, these furry leg warmer boots, I was like, who's going to wear those? And then Shoe Fab had a sale where I got mine for $13.99. And so I got me some of these. Yes. So she said that she's talking to Kevin Jr. in that clip. Let me try to go back if it'll let me. Listen to what she says.
Have you talked to Kevin Jr. lately, Wendy?
Okay, the reason I wanted you to hear yes is because it was just reported in the last 18 hours also that Kevin hasn't talked to his mom, Wendy, since she got out of rehab, but let Wendy tell it. It is not true. So back to those furry boots. I got mine for $13.99 on Shoe Fab, and they are awesome. They're so warm and snuggly. And I don't know, I kind of like making it look like I have a fur calf. It's so bizarre. I don't know, you guys. I like it a lot. So this last part that we're going over this morning is Kyrie Irving. I don't know if you saw my video that I posted on Kyrie's list, where I went over how Kyrie Irving, after being suspended from the Nets and the overkill with the 6 extra things and the loss of endorsements for his research into his own lineage, like Lizzie said, it's important. Lineage is important, right? Like bloods are important, right? To know who you are is the point of this whole journey, right? So Kyrie, being a Black man in America, who lots of our backgrounds are lost and hidden in plain sight or whatever, we're still searching. We have to take a DNA test to find out where the fuck we came from because of the whole transatlantic slave trade shit going on, y'all. And then with all the things that happened in this country where we were separated from are bloodline and lineage records. So it's really interesting. So yeah, Kyrie Irving suspension is over. It was a 2-week suspension. I guess he did all the 2011 things on the list after he did the other 11 things on the list. And after he did 11 apologies, they finally let him back on. He did wear Nikes on the court. I hope they were the ones that he already had, because remember, Nike got in on the whipping of him by saying they weren't going to have a relationship with him anymore because some new Kyries were supposed to come out for Christmas, and instead they dropped the collection. So it was a whole lot of over punishing for a black man, as always, in my opinion. I mean, you know, some people get rehab and rehabilitation and another chance and released on OR, and some people get suspended for 2 weeks and an apology tour. So go figure. Anyway, the Black Hebrew Israelites, who are a religion to them, have been deemed a hate group, because when 100 or more Black people are gathered in the name of unity, it's always deemed a hate group. Cough, cough, ask the Black Panthers. So these people believe, yes, definitely over punishment. Yes. So Black Hebrew Israelites were kind of the subject of the movie, Hebrews to Negroes, in a way, because they're Black Hebrews. And the movie that started all the controversy for Kyrie Irving is Hebrews to Negroes, Wake Up Black America. And we did an in-depth dive into that. Try to check out that video, Kyrie's List. It was really awesome. So anyway, he returned to the stadium in New York to play his first game after being suspended. And he was met by the Black Hebrew Israelites, but he doesn't go in that door. So he didn't even know they were outside. Now, what I'm going to play for us now is a snippet of the Brooklyn Nets press conference immediately following the game. And that's actually where he got in trouble the first time, was at this press conference. And because I feel like these reporters are too big for their britches. They need to respect these athletes, respect what they say they're there to talk about. Stop pressing on them. Stop trying to use these athletes as political pawns to get out an agenda. Stop trying to force them into a box, into a corner and everything. Let them live. They're there to play basketball. Why are you asking him about all these other shits? Like, you have that right. He already told you he didn't want to talk about that shit, and you kept pressing it last time. And I believe that's the same reporter's voice that we're going to hear this time. Let's see if it plays. So these are the Black Hebrew Israelites, and their colors are purple and gold. And there's a fraternity, the Q Dogs, that also wear the same color. So they were out there in full force, lined up, singing songs, representing, because they exist.
And they just started laughing, because we know in the beginning of the season we weren't in the best shape possible. So we had to work our way into it. Guys coming back from injury. So it feels good when you can just flow into the game and just let it come to you, and then make your impact by trusting the execution of the game plan.
When you're conditioned at all, you have to kind of get back in the flow.
I mean, you saw me dribbling the ball out there. I mean, the ball was just miraculously just going out of my hands. So that's just some rust, and just getting back into NBA.
Do you notice his hat says Organic Negro? Let's look at that. Do you see his hat? He's still making titles, you guys. He's still speaking silently. Organic Negro. You see that?
Basketball when I'm sitting at home with my friends. As much as I want to compete with them, as much as I love it, it's just nothing like being out here.
You can ask this, but when you were suspended, there were a lot of players around the league. Jaylen Brown is one specifically that didn't like the way your suspension was handled. I'm just curious if you ever thought about filing a grievance or exploring those avenues at all.
I got to leave that to my legal team and leave it to the warriors I have around me. I have some strong people, men and women around me that are going to do everything possible to make sure that I'm protected and my family's protected, and we protect one another. So I'm sure some things will be done in the future. There's no timetable on that right now.
Hey, Kyrie. I know you said you just want to talk about the game. This morning you talked about recognizing the platform you have, wanting to unify. You're being asked about things that are being said in your name in reaction to the movie you promoted. I'm curious, just I guess, how do you go about deciding when's the time to use a platform and when's not, and when you decide you're going to react when you say something you're talking about basketball?
I would like to be on a platform where I could openly share how I feel without being harshly criticized or being labeled or dealing with outside perceptions that have nothing to do with me. Again, I said this morning, I just want to elaborate on just everyone.
So you see how they pressed him even more? Now that's my thing. He just said he only wants to talk about basketball because last time he shared a thought with those fools, they decided to take it out of context and run with it and get him all caught up in what they said he was doing, which was promoting this movie. And he's like, I'm not promoting anything. I put things on my page just like you put things on your page. How am I promoting it when it's just something that I felt like posting? That's not a promotion necessarily. But they, of course, made it a promotion because they get to define what his definitions are all the time. But you can't do that to anybody else without them getting their panties in a bunch. Because if you misgender or misidentify anybody else's representation of what they are, it's a whole entire problem. But when a Black man is representing who he is, oh my God, you can't do that. You don't know what you're doing. You're offending people. You're promoting this. You're doing that. It's just such the freaking double standard. But I was glad to see Kyrie make it back to the stadium, and I believe they won. Let me check I believe they did win. Did the Nets win? I think they did. I think I Googled it that day. Did the Nets win the game on Sunday?
The Nets overcame the Grizzlies by a score of 127-115 last Sunday.
See, so he came back a winner. Aaron D is in the house. Oh, I love you, Aaron. I love you. Let's see. I haven't seen you in a minute, Aaron. How you doing, girl? I hope everything's okay with you. I hope it is fantastic with you because you deserve all good days, Aaron. I hope you're doing well. Are you getting ready for the holidays? I hope they're good to you, girl. Thanks for being here. Right on. Awesome. You guys, Erin D is such a gem. I love her. She's so thoughtful and she's encouraging and she's just a real authentic human being that I appreciate her energy. And I want to meet her IRL one day. Like I feel like I need an Erin hug. I'm pretty sure my life would be better with an Erin hug. I'm positive. Yes. Oh, so you're working a lot? Right on. So yeah, so that's my that's what I wanted to talk about this morning. Michael's trip. Let's look at his route again. See how he was everywhere they were? Everywhere. So this morning we've already gone over the Michael Darby baby hands. Is he a stalker or a groupie? We decided that he's C, unhinged. New York newbie lied about, then we had Rob the builder and Jizzy being colorist. Right on. Then we have Rob the builder and Jizzy being colorists. And that was pretty racist. That was just pretty outright racist talk. Okay. Then we had the New York newbies real story about why she exited Real Housewives of New York was because her husband used the hard ER for the N word, you guys. And then she lied and said that she got anti-Semitic stuff. Okay, that sounds like a kind of familiar story. Then we saw Wendy Williams confirming that she has spoken to her wonderful son, Kevin. And then we have the Kyrie Irving press conference in return to none other than the Nets, the Brooklyn Nets, where they won that game. Yeah, I did not like that freaking reporter's voice. He was so, Yeah, he sounded really slimy. He sounded like, I'm going to ask this question anyway, so that you look like an ass for not answering it. Because also, when you don't answer stuff, they take that as silence is acceptance. You know what I mean? Gabrielle's in the house.
I just say maybe 10 minutes because I had to go to an appointment after that. But
Yes.
I said about Michael Darby, what I said is true. I had maybe a gift, a prophecy on me. I don't know, but he follow her. He really follow her. When you heard what she say, he say he doesn't. He allegedly he come in this place, but now he knew she was there. He knew it.
Yeah, he had to have known. He had to have known. And then because you don't just walk whenever I go to like resorts or hotels or whatever, and you walk into like a lounge area, they usually they'll either have a sign, there'll be something there to let you know who is going to be performing in that particular lounge, like in freaking Natasha's here. Yay!
Yes.
Hi. I can't talk for 80 hours today either, but yeah.
Okay. We're only going to be here for 10 more minutes.
I just said 10 minutes, but for me, I think he had allegedly, maybe he was in some state due to his separation, but he was allegedly intoxicated with his corona beer because he was red like a lobster. Or maybe the sun, we don't know. But he need
remember the lack of SPF.
Yes, he need a sunblock too, and water to drink to be hydrated. But he was
multivitamins. Yep.
Yes, and he was on the picture very, with a strong opinionated, face. He seems like have a discussion with very strong ID on him, and I don't know what's happening just after, but he was just booed by people and say get out. But we don't hear anything about him after this situation. He make anything on social media. We don't see on Twitter, Instagram, nothing. And Ashley, she doesn't make any comment about that.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely think it has something to do with what we discussed yesterday, Gabrielle's theory, that we're all like, yep, that sits right for me, Yeah. Because if you notice these kind of people, that's when they start to go really like wild and unhinged, is when something is bubbling behind. Like Robin, we know there's that crazy lawsuits, and all that's going, and it's like that's what we're seeing, a trend, and I really, really feel like that's what's going down. And that was just psychotic,
right?
Allegedly, people, he had some strange behavior because we don't
allegedly. Everything I said was alleged, in my opinion. Thank you.
Yes. I mean, even though we got a first-hand account from Candiace's mouth that she said this. Also, they said that she saw, because I had a part 2 I posted yesterday, a part 2 to what she said just now in this live, and she says in there that when they saw him everywhere around the resort, he was with different people all the time.
Maybe he had some holidays, we don't know, but I think she feel Candiace maybe some pressure about him near to her like that without any reason. I think maybe she had a bad feeling about that, because when you see someone you had some altercation with it, and with this allegedly ex-wife, we don't know if they are separation or not. It's very strange to have these people always pop up like that.
Yeah, I would have been freaked out, you guys.
And I'm sorry, she was a public person. He is also too, but he's a man. He had this corona in his hand. He was red like that.
Yes.
Not very, it's not like you see someone in a restaurant and you see maybe one or twice during the holiday week. No, every day she see him.
Yes, every day, everywhere they saw.
And can you imagine that poor assistant or PR lady?
Yes,
like she doesn't know him. Can you imagine that goblin popping up and verbally accosting you out of nowhere?
Out of nowhere,
I would have been terrified.
And that's low key. That's low key racist too, for him to just walk up to random people like y'all look alike. Like you got braids, you black.
That's exactly what I thought. I'm like, oh, you think everyone that means that he never had respect to even notice
exactly
the difference.
Yes.
But
like he was on cast with her for 6 previous seasons, and
like,
he never realized that's not Candiace.
Like I get it, in the court of law, they say like they don't count cross-racial identification, but he knows this woman.
Right.
He's filmed with her for years and years. That's ridiculous.
It's her with different, haircut, outfit. She was on, normal outfit with a very high-end outfit. You see her in different ways. Yes, it's true. But what is very strange, Chris was there, and I don't know who this Chris and Candiace handle that, because you come to work, you come to make a show, you need to have your mind to make to sing, everything like that. She was working when she was in this resort.
Yes.
And he came when she make a concert. I think it's very pressuring, because I do my job and you coming to me, you speak to me like that, like I'm nothing, and I'm doing my job. I am singing. I need to behave to my public, and you cut. I think maybe she can, maybe I'm not sure if she can make lawsuit against him, because he tried to ruin her professional reputation and professional time to work.
Yeah,
it's possible.
You imagine how mad Michael Darby would have been had this black lady shown up to his real estate office to cuss him out while he was at work. It would be a whole...
Yeah, he would have had a whole commotion.
He called cops. He are calling cops. I think
he would have called the law.
He would call the law, but he think he was in Bahamas, the law of Bahamas, but she can make a lawsuit in USA because she has a contract with, it's her USA company. So she can make a lawsuit against him, because
this is harassment.
It's from a way to ruin to have
IDT.
To ruining her relationship.
He did
reputation on working. She can make a lawsuit against him about that. For me, it's legally, I think it's possible, because
it's
she was working.
Harassment,
yes,
stalking and harassment.
That's stalking. That's harassment.
In some way, it's defamation, because he came to say things without proof to ruin her reputation.
And that girl can sue too if he threatened her. I want to know the threats.
And then he was trying to get her out of her headspace before the show.
I'm so glad that
before the show. Hi, DT. Glad you're here, babe. Hey, did you see the response? So this is Candiace telling us that Michael was a stalker in the Bahamas, DT. He did go there. He did see him. Listen.
I will tell you.
Did he?
If she come in his real estate, office, he called her against her cops, and he make lawsuit, and he make a big scandal on social media. He make the three. She just send the picture. She doesn't call.
They shouldn't let this go. I really feel like they should press charges.
Because
I feel like
I think they should make a point to do it, because this is unacceptable, and to let it go is kind of perpetuating
I don't
this goblin's behavior.
Right. Like he needs a repercussion, definitely.
And
this is a consequence and repercussion
about that, because she's one of her member of she's working from Bravo.
Yeah.
And no security, no protection. She was, harassed by someone near to the production, and on her time of work, and she was under the contract with Bravo, because she is in contract of Bravo, because she make promotion of Potomac with her social media. And this person, not working for Bravo, but related to some other worker of Bravo, coming legally, the human resources need to take this situation too, because Ashley is married for the moment we're speaking on Michael Darby. She's not signing any paper. We don't have any paper.
Right.
So what human resources is doing for Bravo for that? Because Bravo now is in NBC. What they are doing?
Because your coworker's deranged husband is showing up at your place of work.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
And
very
it's threatening you,
And
you guys.
I think the threatening should really be the focus.
Addressed.
Like
Yeah.
I want her to press charges. I want her associate to press charges.
Uh-huh.
I want everyone to press charges.
Yeah.
Because
Yes,
this is
because it's different when you say something on Twitter because
this isn't okay.
we are used to see them speaking on Twitter, on Instagram to make some, cryptic posts, everything. We are used to Candiace. We know her on Twitter. But okay. But
Yeah.
that is another step. Like Liz Arena take another step. Everybody this season of every show, we take another step. And we have New York too with nothing is heard. We are already have a scandal. I'm sorry, but I think now Housewives, every franchise, maybe Ultimate Trip is more cool and Miami. We are in dark and very dark energy on the show. Bravo need to rethink everything because now it's too dark for people. They are taking a turn, not like, yes, you said my husband. No, it's very strong and dark now. And
I can't understand how anyone could possibly. I know there's very few, but I know there is still a couple of Robin supporters. The more I think about her, the more I almost get the heebie-jeebies because I feel like there's really dark energy there. Like her face, her sinister look on her face, that last episode, and then the weird stuff that she talks about, how she's parading around her kids, they're practically in high school almost. And it's okay, calm down. And then there's the wand thing. And it's just it's giving weird, sinister. I don't like it. She's being very hateful. She's acting irrational. I'm so glad. That's the first thing that popped into my mind when she did that thing where she pulled up her phone and said, "Are you going to fight?" Was that latest Mexican murder? And everyone, the others on the panel were like, "That's not the same thing." And I'm like, "No, that's not. Of course, it's not the same exact details, but it's the acceptance of violence. It's the encouraging of violence. It's the taping. It's the voyeurism of it all. It's just." Yeah.
You thought you drew
awful.
that parallel too in a thing, Natasha?
I did that yesterday, and I remember the other panelists were like, "No, it's not the same details." And I'm like,
"Too, girl."
And I was
I need to go because I had an appointment. But Lasha, I will send you just now in the moment something Mia posted and someone posted about Mia and Wendy on Twitter. I will send you that on Instagram. You see it, and you can have the picture.
Oh yeah, do you believe that latest rumor?
To everybody. Have
bye.
A good day. Bye.
Okay, Gabrielle, have a great day. Au revoir, mon ami.
Merci. Ciao. Bye.
Au revoir. Okay, have you heard the latest? And I'm please tell me this isn't true. That Mia and Wendy may have hooked up. I'm like, I'm done.
Oh, that didn't happen because Mia actually went live about it. No, Wendy. I don't know why I always transpose those names.
Everyone does, I know.
Wendy went live about it and said that has never happened. Y'all need to stop. She posted about it. She's like,
it seems so outlandish.
Yeah.
It wasn't even believable.
Mia possibly, I don't know, Wendy doesn't strike me as a flirty girl with other girls or guys necessarily. And obviously Mia is hitting anything that moves. So
right.
Her and G get down.
Anything with a heartbeat.
Yeah, she already said that's how they get down. So I could see her maybe making eyes at her, or maybe what happened was
maybe she felt rejected.
Maybe what happened was Mia wanted another person to want to F her because so far Eddie wanted to F her, Chris wanted to F her, G, you know what I mean? Just go down the list.
Weird how she always. That's her first assumption.
Yeah, everybody wants her size 12 shoes.
That's her go-to first assumption. That's just strange to me.
Yeah. And I don't think Mia's lost fingernail.
I mean, oh, stop. I'm obsessed.
DT. Oh my God. You are hilarious. Look, if they are so supportive of her, they should support her to invest in a bath. Yeah, because she didn't even look clean in that episode. I don't know why.
It looks like she's wearing her old stripper outfits that are like 3 times too small and not even like fitting over her thighs. And
DT needs 2 minutes, Natasha. Can he have it?
Okay, yeah.
Of course. DT, go for it, please.
Hello, everybody. Good morning.
Morning, I love you. I'm so glad you're here. Hugs and kisses.
Hello.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I just wanted to bring in some thoughts about Edward James Olmos and her lost fingernails. Yeah, I totally agree with what you had mentioned before, Natasha, in regards to that parallel between Shaquilla Robinson and how her friends acted towards her. Because a lot of, like you had mentioned, a lot of people had said, oh, there's no similarities, but you can actually see the similarities in regards to, the fact that Rob Him was ready to bring out that phone to record the entire thing, and also in regards to how, Edward James Olmos was trying to fight Auntie Wendy. It is very much giving colorism, and the fact that a lot of people aren't actually seeing that there is strong elements of colorism on the show is really disturbing.
It's disturbing.
And I don't know, I'm really sensitive to energy and like Robin and Mia's energy. And you know what I was thinking too? I definitely think that this was a setup for Wendy.
Yes.
And I think it was a plan that Giselle had created probably with Robin, and then they included Mia. And I think that when Patricia rolled up and didn't act as angry as they had hoped,
right,
that Giselle probably like kicked Mia under the table and was like, you better go get a better reaction from him.
Yeah.
But you see, Giraffe Nick is always... You could tell that Giraffe Nick had orchestrated all of this.
Because how she sat back so quiet.
Exactly.
That's a sure sign of when she's up to something is when she's quiet.
Right.
Yeah. And the fact that Edward James Olmos... Well, actually, no, I shouldn't call her Edward James Olmos. That's from last season. We should call her Engelbert Humperdinck. That's what I'm going to call her.
Engelbert Humperdinck.
Humperdinck the third.
Humperdinck the third. And the fact that Engelbert Humperdinck is so oblivious to all of... But you know what? This actually shows her character in a way, because Engelbert Humperdinck is willing to do anything for attention.
Yes. And she doesn't care if it's good attention or bad attention.
Every time she opens her mouth, it just gives inauthenticity. Like, I don't buy anything.
Right.
And it's not just because she's a liar. It's just like how she like talks and how she presents. There's nothing authentic about it.
Exactly. And I think that's a big reason why she's starting to lose a lot. Well, actually, I think she's starting to lose a lot of supporters is because of that inauthenticity. And not only that, even in regards to, her so-called girl boss attitude that she's trying to portray on social media, it's really inauthentic. Because why would, a lot of people are like, oh, in regards to Auntie Wendy, if you're a lady with 4 degrees, you shouldn't be showing them off all the time. Well, excuse me, my dear. If I had to go through 4 years of a PhD, where I have to write a research proposal, an ethics proposal, 100,000 words, and on top of that, trying to raise a family, then of course I will tell the whole world that I have a PhD.
Right.
Because Oh, sorry, Natasha.
Oh, no. I interrupted you. Sorry.
Oh, no. That's okay. And the fact of the matter is, I would go around and tell the whole world that I have a PhD because of the amount of, I wouldn't say trauma, but the amount of dedication you have to give and the amount of energy you have to give in regards to planning, writing, and then on top of that, actually making sure that it's up to ethical standards and then getting judged by a panel of people who will tear your work apart. I would go around and tell the whole world that I have a PhD.
Right. And also, like,
proudly.
Besides that, if you are literally outnumbered and you're getting attacked, like it's normal. Like I was saying, like even in the animal kingdom, if you're being threatened and attacked, you spread out like birds do this. They spread out, they appear bigger, like that's what you do. So yeah, I'm going to pull out all my accomplishments. Because I'm going to strengthen my side as much as I can, because clearly she's being bullied. Clearly she's being outnumbered. It just makes sense on the psychological level. I don't see anything weird about it.
I agree. And it's really, and again, this is a really strong example of colorism. The fact that the Rotten Corn Collective were so intent on trying to target her publicly.
Right.
It's very, like you had mentioned, not only is it very disturbing and it's really disrespectful in regards to the way that they're treating Auntie Wendy, but also the fact that it's publicly, it's publicly filmed.
Right. Yeah.
Shows how. Oh no! As you were saying.
Sorry, I have ADHD. I interrupt so much. It's so annoying. I'm so sorry.
No worries.
I just feel like these kind of people, when you're a bully and you're like a narcissist, allegedly, I feel like nothing makes you more mad than when your plan backfires, or when the person that you're targeting is able to turn it around. Not only are you not able to like push them down, but they're able to turn around and knock you off your peg. And that's what happened last year. I almost said yesterday. That's what happened last year, and they've held that in, and they're never going to forget it, because there's nothing more vengeful than a narcissist.
Exactly. Yeah. Especially when you look. Exactly, and especially when you look like Engelbert Humperdinck and the Scissor Sisters.
The Scissor Sisters.
The evil twins.
And the Scissor Sisters. I call them the Scissor.
Did you hear what they were saying about Harding's beard?
What did they say about it? What did the Scissor Sisters say about it?
Let me see.
It happened, I think, last year. I remember when it did.
Yeah, I remember.
They had heat then.
Potomac, watermelon. Now I'm being real racist. This is horrible. Let me just stop while I'm ahead.
See, they know they're being racist.
I beg
some blunts, definitely some blunts.
It's some blunts. Watermelon. Now I'm being real racist. This is horrible. Let me just stop while I'm ahead.
Colt 45.
James Harden, I beg
some blunts, definitely some blunts.
It's some blunts. It's the whole thing smells like weed. I know it does. Okay, I don't even know if he smokes weed. We're really sorry. Harden, cut the thing off. Sanitary. Anytime I see them, I automatically know.
That's what they said about James Harding's beard, that it was filled. Did you hear that?
Yeah. I did.
Yeah, okay. That it was filled with all those things. Isn't that nasty? And that, like,
it just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Because that's a trendy type of beard for a cross-racial. Like, I see white guys with that all the time. I see Spanish guys, like Middle Eastern guys, like that is very trendy. And of course, Giselle, who can't even spell, like I said, trend, and like doesn't know a trend if it like hit her over the head, like would associate that with something negative.
Right. Yeah, she's just disgusting.
Anytime I see them, I automatically know and feel in my gut that there's fried chicken in those beards. Fried chicken grease.
Watermelon. Now you're being racist.
There's some Colt 45 in there. Watermelon. Now I'm being real racist. This is horrible. Let me just stop.
You see how being racist makes them laugh? They get glee out of it.
While I'm ahead. James Harden, I beg
some blunts, definitely some blunts.
It's some blunts. It's the whole thing smells like weed. I know it does. Okay, I don't even know if he smokes weed. We're really sorry. Harden.
They're like even admitting there. They're like, the fact that Robert even said it.
Sanitary.
Yeah.
Anytime I see.
Yeah, they said it. They recognized it. They didn't stop. They didn't correct.
It's bad if you're past the denial stage.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the fact that Robin is out here talking about sanitary and cleanliness.
The delusion of it all.
I know. I was just like, Robin, rob him.
Robin borderline had bed sores last season. So, like, what is she talking about?
She had bed sores. Oh no.
I don't know. I don't know. Every time I see Robin, I just see a landfill.
I just see like
I just see a landfill.
I just see like a negative.
Shout out to Philly Diva on capturing this.
Overly road rage person.
That is crazy.
I just see a dead skunk.
A dead skunk. Oh, for Giselle or for Robin?
For Rob him.
Oh.
I just love Rob the Builder. That's my personal favorite name.
Yeah,
Rob the Builder.
That is hilarious.
And then the nerve of her to wear that disgusting like House of the Prairie. First of all, okay, so I was a makeup artist. I'm also like I'm an artist. And so color is my thing. I notice color.
Yeah.
And I can pick up people's skin tones really easily. These women have yellow undertones. They cannot wear orange, and they need to stop it. They need to stop it.
Well, Robin needs to really stop because that did not look at all.
Those ruffles. And it's almost like she was trying to like overcompensate her lack of femininity by throwing in these weird ruffles.
Yeah. It's like, oh, these are girly. Throw them. This on there. Oh,
it looked terrible.
Did you hear the real reason why the New York housewife, Lizzie, left?
No.
Oh my God. She left because her husband used the hard ER N-word talking about the black castmate.
No.
Yes. And
really?
Yes. And then they spun it. And here it's going to play. And then they spun it. And Lizzie ended up saying she left because she got anti-Semitic remarks and hate. Come to find out, her and her husband have both said that, saying that goes, okay, so what happened was.
And I feel like it's not held to that same. Am I wrong in that? I don't know.
No, you're not wrong. And unfortunately, Black people don't get the same consideration for atrocities like that because we're not seen as totally human. Like Holocaust happens to people, right? There was a Holocaust before the Holocaust that happened to the Jews, initiated by the Germans against Black people, where they genocided a whole tribe of heroes. Like 100,000 people died in that one. And it was so that they could gain control of the ports in Africa, you guys. And
ports are always a big thing when it comes to wars.
That's what Germany did in Africa, so they could get control of the ports, and that's how they got all their control of everything. And then apartheid happened, and But yeah, in my research, everything I've looked at leads back to a lot of Black people having access to being Jews in Africa prior to any of this. And then the whole thing about how didn't they in 1954 have to physically fly in what they called themselves Jews back to Israel, but they had never been there before, but they created like Israel for them.
Well, they have place. All Jewish people are allowed to go back to Israel, which technically makes them, what's it called? Dual citizenship.
Right.
So a lot of people in the government technically have dual citizenship. And I just find that, I don't know, is that fair? I mean, I feel like your full priority is not going to be with, the current country. I don't know.
Wondering how it happens that America has to send so much money and support Israel, except for that they have dual citizenship there. So it's in their interest. And when you look at the demographics of America, did you know that like 80% of Americans that are Caucasian can identify as Jewish or something? The number was crazy on the map they showed.
Oh, really?
It was crazy how many I was
And I
like,
just want to
no
point out, this
way.
is not a slight to, I love all my Jewish brothers and sisters, you know. We're just talking
Amari's in the house.
historically.
Joe Amari, I love you. Thanks for being here, darling.
But
That is
yeah,
crazy. Yeah, I'm not slighting. I'm just like, I just investigate because my daddy just got his 23andMe back. And it said that he's, in our research, we came up with, yeah, duh, we're African. But because of the last name, we that's been in our family forever, ever, ever, all the way back to like the early 1800s. The last name that we have was associated with Glasgow and Scotland and the British Isles. And so that's what we came up with on our own.
that's
Then we did his
interesting.
23andMe. And sure enough, if my daddy is an 84% sub-Saharan African and 15% European from the British
UK.
Isles,
Yeah.
Glasgow, and Ireland. And that's exactly what our research came up with, because as it turned out, the Scotland people had a lot to do with the slave trade.
Want to hear something crazy about that I found out?
Yeah.
So I was always, I actually didn't have to be told, because I remember when I was like 13, we went to Ellis Island. We took a trip, and both of my sides of my family came through within like a 20-year period. And I'm half Polish and half Slovakian.
Oh, nice.
So, and then I found, and so my mom had told me that she had went to a World Fair, because I was going through her old jewelry and found this charm bracelet, and it had like a bunch of different country symbols on it. I'm like, oh, this is cool. And she's like, yeah, I got that from the World Fair. And at the time, I don't remember really asking a lot of questions and just being like, oh, was that like a big carnival? Like, what was that? You know?
Yeah.
And then she told me it was in Montreal, which is weird because like her family had never been out of the country, but like they reported for duty to the Montreal World Fair. And then I found out that my dad's side was at that same World Fair. They didn't even know each other at the time.
Oh my God.
So they're at the same place at the same time at this weird Montreal World Fair. Both families separately had never been out of the country before. Isn't that weird?
That is so serendipitous and beautiful.
And then I'm born in 1984. Hello.
Oh my gosh.
But
That's
yeah,
a
and then
great
I found
story.
out. And then I found out something that's not really in the history books that much too, is with my ancestors, is the Crimean slave trade, where the Slavs they all kidnapped a bunch of Slavs and made them slaves. And that's really where like they got the word originally slave from, Slav.
No
and,
way!
Like, yeah. And so like, I'm like, wait a minute. Why didn't I know about this?
Right.
So like, yeah, it's crazy. Like, so like, yeah, there's this whole other part of history that I'm just like, why? Like, we're not told about this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, isn't that weird about the World Fairs? The World Fairs creep me out. Have you seen the pictures of the Chicago World Fair? They claim that was built in a few years. Like, give me a break.
Yeah. I'm like
a perfect marble stone carved to perfection that lights up. Like, stop.
Okay, DT. I love you. Thanks for being here. That was cute. DT hardly ever comes up and shares a voice.
Bye, TT.
So that was such a pleasure. Thanks for being here. But yeah, oh my God, I totally read this book one time about different things that happened at the World Fair. And it was so spooky, scary, Natasha.
So scary.
I was like, oh my God, there was like all kind of murderers, the monster, the little kids getting snatched, the ladies.
Oh yeah, they had like orphan trains. They had like human zoos.
Yeah, crazy stuff was happening. And it was all legal. All legal. Hurry.
They even had at the World Fairs, like, where they had like, I guess some guy invented the incubator.
Uh-huh.
And so they had like a presentation where they had hundreds of babies in these incubators, and people could just like come up and look. These orphan, I don't know where these babies came from.
Oh my
God. Where are their parents? Like, what is happening?
The first Pizzagate. No, I'm sorry.
Right? It's like
like, how did they get so many kids?
Like, where are their parents? Someone tell me, help.
Oh
yeah, it's
my
nuts.
gosh.
But yeah, I don't like Robin's energy at all.
Me
I don't
neither.
like it. It's giving heat. It's
Then it's
giving
like,
evil.
so was this at least so Wendy, let's say. That's what I thought, right? That's hilarious, right? Wendy introduced us to Rat-a-tat-tat Wendy a couple of seasons ago. So we know there's facets to Wendy. She's not a linear woman at all. She's multifaceted. She's developing, she's evolving, she's, researching herself and presenting it, right? Whereas Rob the Builder has kind of given us this mono kind of presentation of her that's just boring and eating Giselle's every word and co-signing. And now all of a sudden, we get rat-a-tat-tat Robin to this degree. Now, the whole pushing, getting in faces, that happened a number of seasons, but this just outright bearish. She got up and practically beat her chest about
That's what I said.
People to fight. It was so. I'm like, how has she been hiding this?
She just
this whole
gives like
time?
Neanderthal, like
total Neanderthal
underdeveloped.
vibes. Yes, a Nephilim. No,
right? You said it. Girl, you're speaking my language. I got my tinfoil hat on. You're speaking my language.
Right? Anyway, that's so cool. I love our talks, Natasha. You guys know what? I promised I wasn't going to keep us long. We're coming up.
I know. I'm like, I can't stay long. And then I got all wrapped up in like history.
I know, right?
And I'm like, God.
So I appreciate all of our input. Natasha, you're welcome anytime. Gabrielle, thanks for coming up too. DT, that was a pleasure's all mine. That's
fun talking to DT finally. I always
he's over there in New Zealand. So
really,
that was very special. Yes.
Yeah, loved it.
And then Gabrielle, she's all the way in France. So we got some international curvies in here.
When I worked in New York under a celebrity makeup artist, he was his ancestry was Somalian, but he was raised in France, Lyon, and he would always make fun of me because like Americans say France and it's France.
France, vive la France. Yes, that is the white in me comes from my great grandmother was Florence from France. And she was very beautiful, and she loved her Black husband, even though they dragged him through the streets in that town because they were a multiracial couple. But she loved him through that, and they made it through, and they made 5 beautiful kids, and I'm the offspring. So
awesome.
Yes, love wins all the time.
All right, well, I gotta go. I got sucked in again.
Okay,
love y'all. Nice talking to everyone. Bye.
Peace, Natasha. Okay, you guys, thanks for tuning in to Larger Curves today. If you haven't already, hit the buttons. You know what to do. Help your girl out. We're on our way to 1,000 over here. Share the video, like the video. I only need 150 more subscribers. So if you have 150 friends, then please send them my way. Hit that subscribe button so your girl can get monetized, and we're doing big things over here. If you ever feel like supporting the channel, Cash App's in the ticker at the bottom, Larger Curves everywhere. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. I appreciate you. I hope you make it a great day.